two, one, go.
Hi, Warriors. NFP really kind of a non-event, didn't come in as weak as possible. Dollar still sold off a little bit. Stock market is pressing this week's lows here. The standout for me is really how the commodity currencies haven't been performing with things like euro and cable. So, I want to show you something in Canada that tells me that this tariff dispute, is continuing. It doesn't seem when I look at USD MEX that it's as extreme because USD MEX is not under the same kind of pressure as the Canadian. And the Aussie has been bringing up the rear for a while, so it's under some pressure. But all in all, very damaging week in the dollar. I have some ideas about buying gold and silver and the miners that I'm going to go over that could be setting up for next week. So it's not going to just be a review. WTI is getting closer and closer to that low 60 level. I'm waiting for the final flush under 65, and I'm waiting for TGIF to light up so I could include everyone on Periscope. I'll wait a few more minutes. Also, the bonds, they were down all week until yesterday's sell-off, and it got a little bounce. But despite equity weakness, it's still likely that the bonds may not be able to take out its recent highs. I still believe it might be lower on the week. I'm going to wait another minute. If TGH doesn't light up, we're going to go right to the charts, and I could always just shoot out the video later. So let's go to work. I'm such a patient man. All right. So first of all, we're getting a little bit of a rebound in the S&Ps. There's Dow. We are diverging, and I just want to show risk. And then I'm going to talk Apple before I get to talking about the rest of the market. Okay, so you can see the S&Ps, we could have a reversal today. You never know. I'm just saying, look at this. All right, so we've been diverging since February 27th. That's all the way back here was the last confirmed low. We are underneath a broken trend line. For the market to do anything special, it needs to recover 58.80. But I do want to talk about Apple because during this bombardment on the Mag 7, and you guys know I had, some successful trades in both NVIDIA and Apple, but I just want to show you something because I think there's going to be a big lesson learned here in Apple. So Apple, in comparison to, like Meta, like Google, like Netflix, which really got massacred this week, or Microsoft, which is trying to make a comeback and is not making new lows, kind of builds a case. And here's NVIDIA, still hasn't made a new low, even though the market is. So, I checked ESI, it's 40 bulls. So it's not like we have extreme bearishness here. So I still hold out hope that there could be a rally into option expiration in the next 2 weeks, and that those are going to represent good shorting opportunities. So the lesson I think that's going to be learned in Apple, and I still think that we're going to make a run at the highs here in the next couple of weeks, maybe towards 52, just a little bit out of above this high. This looks like a 1, a 2, and we get a 3 up there. Now, the high of the mover is in the 260s. But the lesson I think that's going to be learned during the month of April and May is that Apple is not a 90-day T-bill. It's not a safe haven instrument. It's still a stock. People believe it's like a bond because of all the cash flow they have from their services, all the buybacks they have with their services. So this is a very crowded trade because people that liquidated a lot of the shares that I showed you that were under pressure over the last several weeks, 2 weeks, really, it's only been of extreme downside pressure. They rotated into Apple. Okay, so there's a lot of people that feel safe, and it's an oxymoron to feel safe because you still have risk in everything, but people don't think Apple could be hurt. Also, if you recall, a few years ago, Xi said that government employees had to give up their iPhones, and they're using different, probably Chinese brand phones. Now, Xi is not going to be intimidated by these tariffs, and all Xi has to say is no what boycott Apple. Okay, as far as this trade war is really considered, that's just cutting off something that is a big market for Apple and other countries too. But you know, Apple saw this coming, and they went into India to diversify their production. And 5 years later, they've shifted only about 19% of their production to India. And everyone's real hyped up about the $500 billion pledge they made to build something here. So it's taken 5 years to develop 19% of their production in India. How long is it going to take here, if it's even possible? So this, I think, is going to be it's kind of the dark horse. We'll see if a lot of people think it's already breaking down. I caught this. I caught a little of this, but if we're here towards expiration in the 20th, I'm going to be buying a lot of puts in Apple. It actually is one of my favorite shorts. I'm not giving up on AI either. If we get some type of rally off this formation here back towards 25 to 30, I'll be taking another shot at Nvidia as well. Okay, something else I want to show you. Let's go to metals. Okay, they're starting to pop. This is where I want to buy silver. And we started to get a pretty good sell-off, and it's already holding. So it didn't even get back down to the breakout at 32. I'm still going to be patient and wait for it. I'm thinking about 31.70, wrong under 31. So I'll be looking for, if offered, buying opportunities here in silver. Also in the miners, they are, like I showed you the other day, many of them have three drive formations. Here's AG, not as clear. These next couple are 1, 2, 3. So, I'd look to buy a pullback, maybe 440 here. And here's Endeavor, has a nice looking chart too. So we get a pullback in silver. I like this 370 level. B2 Gold, one of the smaller ones. I like it down here, maybe around 2.5. And GDX, maybe we get one more shot down here towards 38. It's possible. Otherwise, we're just going to have this pullback to 40 and then blast to new highs. But individual stocks, that's what I like. I like the silver stocks. I'm not going to plunge into them, but here's why I like silver. And someone tweeted it, and I asked people about it. It's on the weekly. So here you go. Here's the weekly. And for those of you who know my work, what do you think is missing here? So, I was bearish here, it was okay. And then a few weeks ago, I got bearish, and we had this one negative week that bailed me out. But the fact that it just did this week with the dollar crashing tells me there's going to be a third drive to a top. So, if let me just draw some type of wedge line up there so we could just approximate. And that's all you could do is approximate it. I'm thinking, $36 is viable. Anyway, let's see what we come up with. It's actually going to be almost 37. So there's your formation. So that's a pretty nice move, especially if you could buy it next week under 32 at 32 or 31.80. That would be a nice move. So that's what I'm looking for in silver. I still think that the gold silver ratio, even though it's up today, I still think that it's turning, that this was a pretty negative week. I know we've had them before, but this time we're closing down there. So I think that the gold silver ratio peaked this week, and we'll see if I'm right about that. I thought it did here and it came back. I thought it did here and it came back. So let's see. Probably wearing out a lot of people. But you could get 92 pieces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. I still like the gold too. The gold was lower on the day, and now it's having a good week. Just like silver, weak dollar usually is good for everything. Maybe we get some kind of sell off, but we hold this 28.5 level. I still think we're going to new highs, and that they'll be popping the corks out of champagne bottles over 3,000. So a lot of people are looking to sell it just over 3,000, but you never know. It could end up being 3,250. So we'll see. I just think that at this point in time, even though today's silver is weaker than gold, that silver is about to play catch up and outperform because of the gold silver ratio. So we all know the dollar puked. I admitted I missed it. One of the first major dollar moves I've missed. I said, don't chase it. I think we'll have a chance to sell it again. I'm looking for 95. You know what? We're almost halfway there from 110 to 103. That's 7. So another 7 gets you down to that 95 level. I think there'll be some rallies, maybe back towards 104.5. I wouldn't be looking for tested of the breakout over 105 anymore. I'd start buying euro if it even pulled back towards this 107.20, and then again at 106. I think next stop after a pullback is 111. Um, I wanted to show you the relative strength in CAD. Look at CAD compared to the dollar. Okay, here was the CAD's first low, and we see what the dollar did. And here's the CAD's first low, like the dollar, and it rallied back on the tariff news, but it's putting in a higher low here, which is different than what's going on in the dollar itself, right? Also, Mexico, the chart is a lot weaker. So I think the problem right now is going to be more with Canada, less with Mexico. And, I've tried the yen a few times. I'm trying it again down here. All right. I caught it here. Remember, probe, take partials, protect. I did it here this week. Probe, take partials, protect. I did it yesterday. Probe, take partials, protect. And this is the third time this week I'm doing it. And none of them were losers, even though we're making new lows. And that's because of money management. Okay. So I know it wasn't as great as being long, a ton of euros or short the Dixie, but, still made some money there. And now I want to just focus on yield. So we had a pretty, I don't know, it was kind of a little better than expected move in the NFP, the numbers. But I'm thinking that this could just be a failing rally in TLT. We've come down a little over 3. We've almost rallied halfway back, and I think there's another decline coming. 88, 89 looks viable to me. 88 does if we have a quality And really, the bonds have had everything going for it this week. We've had a weak stock market, right? Okay. Should have been flight to quality. We've had weak economic data, shockingly weak. And what's it doing for the week? It's Friday. Let's see if this rebound still believe we have a red week. And we do. We have a red week. So I don't know. It looks pretty fragile to me. So we'll see. It's going to have to clear 94. But I still think that this too is crowded. Considering the 10% drop in NASDAQ, this isn't exactly a trip to Hollywood. It's not like this low. It's not like this low. It's not like this low, at least not yet. It looks like it's just another bounce from support. The 10-year is went right to resistance. It's a little higher on the week. And, if you want to wait for confirmation to sell the notes, look at where it stopped. I had this 433 level. That's where I thought it was going to stop on the way down, and we blew right through it. And now we've rallied right back to it. And if we start closing over 433, here's how I see the 10-year. Call this a neckline. Let's do it. There you go. All right. And say we rally up to this moving average, 450, that would be a right shoulder, right? I think there still is a possibility of taking out these highs. Why? Because we peaked with a confirmed high. Anyway, I wouldn't be long notes or bonds because they didn't perform with stock weakness. What's going to happen if we get a reversal in stocks? In which we're starting to get a little bit today. It's still a very negative week. So unless they really reverse it hard, the lows will be next week. But see, that's a pretty ugly week, which normally means follow through into early next week. But I say be careful. Look at this divergence here. We made a new low and the reading was 31. I think there's going to be a squeeze there. And did NASDAQ make a new low? NASDAQ held yesterday's low. Doesn't look as, uh, you know, bouncy, but, I think there's a shot for a rally back towards 21,000 to 21,400. And that's how I get Apple at back over 150. And that's how I get NVIDIA back to 125, 130. Crude is bouncing pretty big today. I still don't think that this is, it's right at major support. So I still need it to flush out so that we could put that geo trade on. Maybe it's going to take until the spring equinox and we put some kind of low in. But we've broken the lows. Now we're reversing. It's at 30, but I'm still looking for, I was looking for 62. Maybe I'm going to be waiting too long. If that's the case, I'll just let wave one go. But this is the line I was looking for. Unless we really rally from here, we're still going to have a negative week. So I'm not going to, I've been patient for this long. I think I could wait another few weeks to see if this gets tested. So we're getting a recovery in stocks. Prepare yourself for something in silver and the miners next week for a rally to new highs in silver. And we'll see if we could get, I'm not going to, buy stocks for a rebound, but I'm ready to sell them if we get a 2-week rebound, because I think there'll be after that one more wave. And here's what I'm thinking. Okay, so say for example, we get a wave then we take out this 880 level, okay? Say we get a rally all the way back up to here. All right, this has been 400 handles, 420. So the next rally, the next wave, if we're going to get a 2 now, back up here, is going to be 650 handles, 1.618. And this will take it down to 5,400. So be patient, keep some powder dry. I still think there's going to be another chance to short the market. And if there isn't, you know what, Warriors, there's always another trade. I miss them every day. Accept it, you will. And do your work over the weekend. Let me know if you're learning anything, okay? And how you did this week. And spread the word. It's free. You know, step into TradeGATEHub and post your work. I post trades. I posted the yen trades, the TLT puts from the high this week. So, you know, come on in here and look at all the activity that we have. So, mainly stocks in here. Okay, the J Norm's looking for a rally because the VIX below 50, VXX. Mike is continually showing option flow, and that's one of his major tells when stocks are taking options. And then he looks for volume and range. So he's got a great curated Twitter list that he shares with the community. Bring your good stuff in. Iron sharpens iron. And remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios. Have a great weekend, everyone.